Well, up next, Russell Wilson, the quarterback, is no longer a Denver Bronco. So, what are your
Man.
first thoughts in response to the Russell Wilson release?
I seen it coming. We kind of covered this in our recent episodes and saying like, yo, he's either going to, you know, opt out or something's gonna happen. And I don't blame him. At the same time, I wouldn't be anywhere where I'm not really wanted or appreciated. Uh, but it just seems his mindset is though, like, regardless of my mistakes, regardless of how I'm playing, I'm dedicated to this game. I still want to play, wherever I'm at. So I like his mindset.
Yeah, a sense of belonging with a team is probably one of the most important aspects for a player.
Yeah.
And Harry Douglas on the Get Up show recently said that Sean Payton hated Russell Wilson. And I feel that that's a pretty hot take, but he had mentioned the injury clause that they had asked him to get rid of. So he would have pretty much waived guaranteed money that he had coming to him.
Yeah.
And he also had mentioned that a team does not eat up $85 million, and that this shows how much they hated him because that's how much he's walking away with in the next 2 years.
So
That's what he's
yeah,
going to make.
85. Yeah.
What team do you think Russell should have gone to instead if we go back to 2020 or 2021?
Mm, that's a good question. I feel like with him, a team of probably like, let's just say if, for example, the Vikings, right? If they didn't have Cousins, I could see him maybe there. I could see him. Some always telling me Atlanta Falcons, or just one of those kind of upcoming teams. Really, those upcoming teams that have like a pretty decent quarterback. We seen Russell do amazing things with the Seahawks. We seen him, you know, with Tate having those players. So really, just a team that really has those players, and they can kind of switch. Okay, this is pretty much like an average. He's good, but he's an average type quarterback. We get a Wilson, that makes the whole team the thing complete. So
Yeah, I remember in one of our last segments, we had spoke about like quarterbacks possibly going to different spots,
yeah,
and I do think that Derek Carr had played well for the Saints, but how about Russell Wilson going to New Orleans instead of Jameis Winston and then
Winston,
later Carr?
Carr,
So in the
that
2022 season, if you get Russell Wilson on the team,
other team. That's man. Honestly, that's a good question. It really just depends on. I don't. I think he would do good, but it really depends on how his relationship with our coach. How is theirs. Because I mean, we Sean Payton. He was with the Saints, so they pretty much know Sean and they work with Sean. It's like, okay, if what if they're the same way with him? Can you be able to handle that type of coaching and relationship and stuff like that? So
he was a mentor to the coaches there, so they
yeah,
might have a similar attitude.
exactly. So I think it'll work out. It probably will be a problem in the beginning, but I think it will work out though.
I think the Saints would have been a pretty decent spot for him, and he would have been competing directly with Tom Brady there in the NFC South.
Yeah.
Because of their Super Bowl history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they've kind of developed a rivalry throughout their careers?
Russell and Brady. I think so. But it wasn't like one of those heated rivalries. Like I said, we always talk about that big game against uh Brady and him, and that whole him throwing that 1 yard pass. That's going. People are gonna always remember that. But I think that's kind of what really started everything. That kind of was really what fired up everything. But I don't think it's like a huge deal.
Yeah, right now teams that are in need of a quarterback include the Atlanta Falcons, New
Yes.
England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, and maybe Seattle, depending on what they do with Geno out there. So
I don't think they're gonna. I don't
yeah,
think they're gonna
Seattle's
pick them
not.
up and see. Yeah, I don't think so.
And then we have the Commanders, Chicago, and Las Vegas. So, what team do you think Russell Wilson will end up
Uh, that's a good question. It really just depends on who want them or who really need them at that moment. Like I said, a lot of these teams, just because they need a quarterback, don't mean they just gonna. Well, come on, Russ. They gotta see really, what's his attitude and stuff like that. Because one thing, you don't want to sign a quarterback who's going to be selfish, who's just not really. But I think he's a team player. I think Russell's more like a team player, and he just. I seen one of his recent interviews. It's like, yo, he regardless, he just wants to play. So I think probably I can see the Falcons. I can see the Patriots. Maybe even Pittsburgh. That might even be a surprise. So I think out of those three.
on? Yeah, the release also leaves a large gap in the Broncos quarterback room.
Yeah.
We have the draft, free agency, and trades. How will Denver replace Wilson?
I have no idea. And they got all he just ran with all that money. He ran with all that money. And it's like, you getting a rookie quarterback, it's like you gotta pay him. You gotta cover his, I don't know, man. Honestly. They can do, like I said, they probably need like a Caleb Williams, kind of how we said. If he could get him on there.
Oh, I agree for sure. I would draft a quarterback. And
yeah.
You're pretty familiar with Sean Payton.
Yes.
And I think that he'd be more comfortable with a quarterback that he chooses and mentors. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Probably like, how he mentored Drew Brees. Just kind of like when Drew was coming from out of, with the Chargers and coming out and, he young player and he getting them right and he got him to the Super Bowl. So that just shows you not every quarterback is going to understand his coaching and his mentorship. It's just you have to find one that kind of sinks. Like, I'm okay with you yelling at me. I just want to be guided the right way for the team. I want to make sure, So, yeah.
Yeah, there have been so many great quarterbacks who've worked with Peyton. You've had Tony Romo, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson for a little while. Who do you think is the best that's worked with Peyton?
Definitely Brees.
I agree.
Definitely Brees. It was their chemistry was unmatched. You could tell, they had they kind of had like a Belichick Brady relationship kind of going, but it wasn't like too crazy. Like I feel like Brady and Belichick's it's like the father and son type.
Peyton seems a lot more relaxed than Belichick.
Yeah, he is. He's real chill. I seen him snap though. It's been games where he definitely went off, but it's more so of it's not like an everyday thing. It's just more so of
it's not the attitude he holds and carries.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It comes out when it needs to.
When it needs to come out. Yeah, So definitely Brees, him and Brees.
Well, we will definitely have more on the Russell Wilson situation, and we'll tell y'all where he ends up for sure.
Hopefully, man. Like I said, I like his spirit. I hope he ends up on a good team.
And up next, we have J&J Sports coming to y'all with more in 2024.